Thanks for staying with us. Let's then move on to this. Kenyan President William Ruto says he has called on opposition leaders, in fact, Raila Odinga, to stop weekly demonstrations by his supporters as they were starting to turn violent and also leading to the destruction of property. Now, Ruto was answering a question during a media briefing with President Paul Kagame in Kigali, Rwanda. Our international news editor, Sophie Mokoena, is in Kigali in Rwanda for us. Let's get the very latest. Oh, Sophie?
Well, of course, we are coming live from Kigali, Rwanda, where the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, held talks with his counterpart from Kenya, William Ruto. The discussions revolved around trade and investment, the political situation, looking at the region. I'm talking about the East Africa region or the Great Lakes region in general. And the two leaders spoke frankly about the challenges facing this region, the EAC or the Great Lakes region, in relation to peace and security. President William Ruto saying that they are working very hard as a region to ensure that there's peace and security in the DRC. On the other hand, President Paul Kagame supporting what President William Ruto said, that there's progress in terms of ensuring that there's peace and security in the eastern part of the DRC. Perhaps let's take a listen at what the two leaders had to say about issues related to peace and security, particularly in the eastern part of the DRC. As you are aware that some are accusing President Paul Kagame of supporting the M23 rebels, but he has since denied all those allegations. Let's take a listen.
On the matter of DRC, Eastern DRC, and the challenges of security in Eastern DRC, this is a collective concern of us as a region. The heads of state did take a decision that EAC must provide leadership in sorting out the challenges in Eastern DRC, especially after DRC joined the EAC.
The history of Eastern DRC is something we can't go into problems here sufficiently. It will take a long time, but programs have been there back and forth, and something related to what the president said also is maybe for many years people have concentrated on trying to apportion blame to all parties and who is right, who is wrong, and it has gone on forever. So that means there's something wrong with that approach to dealing with the issues.
Another thorny issue when you look at what's happening in the East Africa region, President William Ruto responded to my question where I was asking him about the situation in Kenya. As you are aware that on Sunday, he made an appeal to the former Prime Minister of Kenya, who is also the leader of the opposition, Raila Odinga, that he must stop the protests that are happening once a week in that country as part of engaging in fruitful discussions in terms of responding to the issues that the opposition is raising. But he was very frank and very brutal in terms of what we normally refer to as a handshake. You know, the handshake, it is during that time when President Uhuru Kenyatta had that handshake with Raila Odinga, which led to later President then Uhuru Kenyatta supporting Raila Odinga as a candidate for the presidential elections and abandoning William Ruto. Let's take a listen at what President William Ruto said about the peace process and the engagement in Kenya between the ruling coalition and the opposition coalition.
Because of this situation, I want to tell you, there will be no handshake. But there will be an engagement in Parliament on the issues that have been raised. Those that Parliament can resolve, they will be resolved. And when I say there will be no handshake, I know that there is a context, you know, like we were being told here, please have a handshake. Unfortunately for us in Kenya, a handshake has a different connotation. And that is the one that I am talking about.
Now the focus will be on the coming commemoration of the 1994 genocide. You know that it was in 1994 where many people died in Rwanda during the genocide. At that time, South Africa was engaged in preparations for elections. And I remember very well, at some point in time, the former South African President Thabo Mbeki said that at that time, the party in Rwanda did get in touch with the ANC, requesting the ANC to speak to the then apartheid government not to supply arms in the factions in Rwanda. And later there was this genocide, and the former president saying that they didn't respond on time because the country was going to elections, and South Africa also had challenges of peace and security at that time ahead of elections in 1994. 30 years on, next year, has Rwanda been able to rebuild and unite? We'll hear on Friday. And of course, the international community, are they looking away as another conflict is building up in the DRC? Back to you, Bongiwe.
All right, thank you so much, Sophie. We'll continue then to keep close with you on those live updates. That is our international news editor, Sophie Mokoena, coming to us live from Rwanda.